Well, hi. Hey, look at this. Be kind with a shamrock. Pastor Doug here with you on another midweek moment. Blessed to be a blessing, sending this out to the saints at St. Andrews and Speedway and the saints at Faith Lutheran in Avon. Midweek moment, just a few moments of reflection for us as we go through our daily journey. And as a fashion trendsetter, I wanted you to see my latest Be Kind t-shirt. But I want to ask you a question today. How is your, and this is one of those questions when it's asked, it may make you mad. How's your attitude today? How is your attitude? What are you thinking about? As famous salesman and mental focus champion Zig Ziglar, author of many books, motivational speaker, said, you got some stinking thinking? I've said before that I came up in my professional life with the emphasis on attitude and thinking and how that can make things right or wrong in our life. Certainly when you're in outside sales, traveling, that kind of thing, it's easy to get waylaid, just as it is in everyday life for any profession or any person. But the point was that we were listening to sales tapes, motivational tapes. Earl Nightingale from the Nightingale Conant Company was one. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of these out now, but I just wanted to lift up this idea of attitude. I came across recently, many of you probably know Charles Swindoll. Charles Swindoll, back in the day, was a famous pastor out of Dallas Theological Seminary. He had a radio and TV show, and he's written many books, but he's also written something on attitude. And I had it on a poster and kept it in my office for many years. And it goes like this: Charles Swindoll on attitude. Just a checkup from the neck up today for midweek moment, a checkup from the neck up. Okay. Charles Swindoll: the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, or than circumstances. Attitude is more important, writes Charles Swindoll, than failures or successes, what other people think, say, or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. Attitude will make or break a company, a church, a home. Let me emphasize that. This is Attitude by Charles Swindoll. Attitude will make or break a company, a church, or a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude that we embrace. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string that we have, and that is our attitude. For I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. We are in charge of our attitudes, writes Charles Swindoll. How do you feel about your attitude, my friends? And in particularly, how do you feel, or what is your attitude towards our congregation or congregations? What's your attitude towards your church? Is it poor? Is it apathetic? Is it, when are we going to die, or we're dying soon? Or do you feel negative about your church? I mean, I have to wonder, because none of you seem to be inviting any friends or family to come. I don't hear many stories of you getting together with each other very often at one another's homes or out to eat or any of that. Not that I would necessarily, and frankly, it's none of my business, but it's an observation after 3 years. If you're not in a positive state of mind about your congregation, then and to which case you're inviting and excited about the ministry and bringing others with you kind of thing, then I can only wonder what it might be, or if it's somewhere in the middle or it's nowhere. I mean, some of you have been attending your congregation for 30, 40, 50 years. It's easy to become, I don't know, maybe not apathetic, but neutral, some kind of neutral. Let's wait and see where it goes. Let's wait and see what this council does. Let's wait and see how Pastor Doug does. I'm in my third year, and I am not far from perfect, far from having a good attitude all the time. I realize all that. But I feel strongly that I love God's people. I visit, I call on folks, I am invitational. I believe that I preach a pretty solid word from God and do the right things as a pastor. But that I'm going to be here and gone in however long. But this is your congregation, and you're going to be here much longer after. Does it sound right? You'll be here long after I'm gone, probably, in many cases. So I'm just a stop in the middle of the road, as it were, but you're still traveling on with this congregation. What's your attitude? I hope that you can consider shifting it if you find that in thinking about it and meditating a little bit and wondering about it, maybe you realize it's not very good, that you're ashamed maybe of the empty seats or the lack of this or that or the other. All of that's probably true. Your attitude doesn't necessarily reflect in the amount of people that we have coming, but I can't help but think that there's something in that. I know in general we're shy about asking people to come to church. I know that it's not easy to invite family or friends sometimes. We're not evangelists very easily. Lutherans invite someone once every 22 years, it's been said. But we are the church. You are the church. I am the church. We are the church together. And God has called us together for this time and this space. And we need to decide what we're going to be doing in the coming year. If not sooner, we're going to be dealing with some heavy questions, and we need to. I raised that in a recent sermon. I only got one feedback outside the door of church thanking me for naming the elephant in the room, because we're afraid to talk about it. Now, we all realize that we've got to do something because, the future is uncertain, but we don't know what the future holds. You and I just know who holds that future, right? And that God has a plan, I believe. And I do not believe God is done with us. I have to tell you that Ash Wednesday services, in that full sanctuary, listening to the volume of the singing and the joy of being together in fellowship, gave me a foretaste of what the feast to come could be like. Now, I don't want to make faith folks angry. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying that the membership and financial challenges of both congregations could be taken care of by some agreement to merge together. St. Andrews has the building, obviously, I think, in my opinion. And then we become a federated church. We change our name and away we go. There's much to be decided around that, and it's complicated, and I don't mean that in a flippant way. I just can't help but notice that it seems obvious to me that that's what the future could hold. It could work the other way. We could sell the property that St. Andrews is on. That's an old building that's expensive to pay for, and build somewhere in the middle, I suppose, or maybe there's some building at Faith that could work and come that way. I mean, I don't know. That may not work out because there's a lot of you are pretty entrenched in both congregations and don't want to move or change, which I get and I understand. So don't get me wrong. I'm just asking for a general reflection of your congregation. How do you feel about it? I hope it's good. I pray that you see the joy of the faces of your friends and your family of faith. Yesterday, Sunday at Faith, Annika was out sick and Teresa jumped in to play. She didn't jump. She was probably dragged. At St. Andrews, we brought in some new members, and one of them said she just loves the church and loves the people. There is hope, and God is doing something in our midst. Part of our attitude will be to be open to what God is doing and to consider all the possibilities in the near future as we talk about it together. And then to kind of anchor this attitudinal midweek moment, Paul writes in Philippians chapter 4, and this is from the Message translation, "Don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything comes together for good. It's a wonderful what happens when Christ displaces the worry that might be at the center of our lives." Summing it all up, friends, again, Philippians 4 in the Message, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things that are true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, beautiful, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you have learned from me, writes Paul. What you heard and saw and realized, do that, and God will make everything work together for the good of God's people. So attitude, friends, let us repent of a poor attitude if that's our situation. Repentance is a changing of our minds. Let's change our minds. Let's believe in each other. Let's believe in the two congregations, however that may work out, because certainly the shared ministry bears much fruit in the various ways we've already done it. The future is ours. God is with us. I pray that we might check ourselves, realizing that an attitude can ruin a church, a home, a business, and that we would keep a positive attitude about what God is doing and look for the good in, through, and with one another. To God be the glory, my friends. See you soon. God be with you till we meet again. Wednesday night or tonight, after you've watched this, assuming you do it during the day, come out to Faith at 6 o'clock for a soup supper and a 7 o'clock service on Lectio Divina, divine reading. Wednesday night. Come tonight and join me. God bless you. Thanks for listening.